And welcome back, everybody. This is part 3 of our little Inside the NDL for the Block 1 recap. And with me on the phone, I have Coach Dcane7. Say hello to everybody.
What's up, everybody?
Alright. So, I guess the first things first, I feel bad. I'm still kind of learning, even though I'm like in my 16th or 17th season. I know of you, but I don't know you all that well. So I'm assuming, because I remember you posting saying that your names got merged together, that your username used to be AKA Kane God, I think.
Yeah.
So,
That kind of haunts me a little bit.
so I'm guessing that makes you a Miami fan?
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
Grew up in Georgia, so, I kind of grew up on the Canes, but I actually went to the University of Minnesota and played for the Gophers.
Ah. Yeah, I never would have guessed that. What position did you play?
I played DB. I was number 27, actually, on NCAA 2004.
Nice. Convenient. 2004, my favorite thing. I'm pretty sure at some point I was going to ask that, so I guess I'll just ask it now. You said on instant message that you've been playing NCAA since the beginning, so I'm guessing probably with you playing football, that's part of the reason why you like playing NCAA. But since you've been playing it since the beginning, what are your thoughts on the series overall?
I mean, overall, I think they've been doing a lot of great things, for the college fan, but they lack some ideals when it comes to the football fanatics, the guys who actually have like football insights, who actually look for those little small tweaks, who don't just look at the grand scheme of things, that actually look for those small details. I think they tend to overlook those, and sometimes they'll look at some of the details and just go completely haywire with it. Sometimes they overdo it, sometimes they underdo it. It's politics in video games, that's all.
Yeah, very true. Oh, which one would you say is your favorite?
Still to this day, 04 is my favorite.
Alright. I don't feel bad things. So when I was interviewing my buddy, I said the same thing. It's like, but he's never played on PS2. It's like you've missed out on a lot. You don't know where we've come from, so it's a little harder to. It's easier to kind of judge just what they have in a small little window, but going all the way back, the PS2 days were some good times.
Oh yeah.
Alright, so I guess I don't want to talk too much about what you're doing now, because kind of getting people to know more about you, but looking at the first block, in Dave's season 23 thread, that was the first thing I thought of. I was put Duke, just one word, 'cause that summed it up. You had the double overtime game with Michigan, and I saw the highlights that were posted, and I read the recaps. A drop away from looking at triple overtime, and then you go and beat USC. So with Duke, you're off to a pretty damn good start so far. What are you thinking about your Block 1 games right now?
Well, no matter what, in NCAA, I never claimed to be like a great coach or anything like that. I just claim to always be a coach that no matter who I'm playing and no matter who I'm playing with, I want to give my competition a good game. And I felt, ever since I found out or figured out that I wasn't going to be able to keep Ole Miss, or that I wasn't going to really do too well, I started looking at teams, and Duke was a team that was a BCS team that I thought was kind of, they had some kind of potential, and been playing around with them for a while, and I really liked the team. So after playing, some scrims against some bigger schools with the team and doing really well, I thought that, hey, I might actually have a chance to actually shot some people. But, not trying to look too far into it, just knowing that it's a team I can have fun with, and no matter how the season turns out, it's a team that I can enjoy playing with. Playing against Michigan, me and Block had a grand old time. I mean, every time we were going at it, he'd get up by like 2 scores. And, I know he just thought the game was just done, but, I don't quit. I'm going to still try to make it interesting. And I just kept coming back at him, and we were both, I'm pretty sure, just sitting on the edge of our seats. And then going into the USC game, that game was just crazy. One thing I do, only thing I do like to actually, say is I try to study the game and develop user skills so that I'm not relying on the computer to do a whole lot for me. And I think that's one thing that probably surprised those two guys in that game because of the amount of turnovers I was able to create and just the damage that I was able to do with the user control players that I had in there. Just made it a little bit more fun.
Yeah, totally. Oh man, user skills can definitely swing a game. Seeing that happen more times than I'd like to admit to. It's good stuff there. Oh, I'm thinking you're going to have a really good season. I haven't had a chance to take a look at the rest of your schedule yet, but I know when ACC play comes up, there's going to be some of those bigger guys are going to be a little nervous now when they see Duke coming up in the next block.
Well, I mean, this second block, we got Michigan State coming up, the season 22 national championship runner-up. We got him that we got to face, and then we got our first ACC opponent in Boston College. So, I mean, that's looking to be pretty interesting for us. We're just expected to go out there on the field and do well. That's pretty much it. Win or lose, we just want to have fun.
Oh man, that Michigan State game is going to be entertaining. I've played Weasel a couple times, and he always provides good game. He's got a good offense, so you two should definitely have a good one there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, since we're talking about teams, I mean, I've seen you and Shell joking a lot on the message board, so I'll look at them. I'm guessing you guys may be a coach rival or not, but
Shell and I have played once, maybe twice, and in the times that we played, it's been we've actually played one full game, and Shell basically, he's like the hot horse, and you always get that one guy that just want to come knock the king off his throne real quick, and that's basically what the situation is. I feel like I can beat the guy, so I just want to prove it. Type thing. And honestly, my actual rival is I have two rivals in the league, and that's VT and Doc. VT because when NCAA 2004 hit, when the first online gaming started, my first game that I ever played, first lobby game, was against VT.
wow.
And I've known him since then. And every year, every season, we actually play a VT versus Miami game every year.
Man, that's some good stuff right there. VT's a fun guy to play too. I've only got to play him once myself, but played him in a scrim last year, and I've never seen anyone control a cornerback. So that was a different change for one, but he plays the position so well. It just makes it like he's like Revis. You can't throw the ball over there. It just completely shuts down that side of the field, so it makes it a challenge.
Actually, the thing is, you just have to know his game. And that's VT's only downside when it comes to me. I know exactly what he's looking for in that corner position because he and I both used to do that, but I got away from it and moved to the free safety and moved to the middle linebacker. But I know exactly what he's looking for when he's doing it. I'm not going to bust him out and tell everybody else, but I know exactly what he's looking for, so I know how to find the holes with him when he does that. So, it makes him and I, it makes our games a lot more interesting because it is a complete chess piece.
Yep, those games are always a fun. It's always trying to make that one little adjustment to make the difference in the game. So, other than NCAA, what other games? Because I know that I'm pretty sure in one thread that I was poking fun at a friend, and you made reference to Modern Warfare. So, I'm guessing that you like shooters in general, but I know that's going to be a big one, and a lot of the NDL guys are going to play. So.
Yeah. Believe it or not, before I went to college and even throughout college, I have actually I served in the military for 6 years, airborne air assault in the Army. So anything that has to do with shooting games, I'm always up for it. SOCOM actually brought me into it. Then after SOCOM 2, when Call of Duty came out, I jumped on board. Because I never really was a big fan of first-person shooters until COD. But ever since it came out, I've been all aboard it, and playing with the NDL guys just make it that much more fun.
Yeah, listening to beefy talk is always good, and then Oh man, I miss those days. Definitely have to get back into it this year. What other genre of games do you like to play? Is it just?
Well, I'm actually a big RPG guy. You can always find me on some Final Fantasy. I really enjoy NASCAR. I actually go to the races and actually watch the races. As far as other sports, not really that big into playing them. I guess because I haven't really got back into it. I used to when I was a kid, but just hadn't got back into it yet. But mainly RPGs, first-person shooters, and as far as sports, just fighting games. Love fighting games.
What's your favorite fighting series?
Favorite fighting series of all time has to be Tekken.
I like that, a Tekken guy. No one out here likes Tekken. Feel like I'm all alone. Everyone's on Street Fighter and Marvel vs. Capcom, and yeah, I'm just a beating dog for everybody. But Tekken's a lot of fun.
I like Tekken because Tekken to me wasn't all about, shooting light bulbs and, doing all this crazy mess. It was about combinations. It was about a sequence of different movements, basically just like martial arts.
Yep.
So, that's what made it more interesting to me. Seeing out of all the other fighting games that I'd ever played, it seemed the most realistic. And granted, yeah, the other ones were a lot more about fun and just doing some off-the-wall stuff. When you, ripping people's spines out of their neck. Sorry, more Kombat flashback.
Yep.
And of course, you gotta give it up to the old one back on the 64, the Killer Instinct.
Oh yeah.
Nice too.
Killer Instinct Gold. Good times there. So, just curious, with the RPGs, I like RPGs too. Are you more of a, how should I ask this? Like more of a JRPG guy, or do you like more of the newer breed, where it's kind of a mix between the Japanese and the Western?
I guess you can say both, because I've done more of the, because when I was PlayStation 1, I guess I was more so like a JRPG guy, because I was into the Final Fantasy, Legend of Legaia, Legend of the Dragoons, stuff like that, and Final Fantasy, of course. Final Fantasy 10 or X was probably, Final Fantasy 7 and Final Fantasy 10 are probably by far my favorites, but I got really into 13. So, I bounce around. It's about the storyline for me when it comes to RPGs. Not really so much the playability, it's about the storyline. How well that game is going to carry me throughout the story.
Yeah, if you're going to be playing a game for 50 hours, it better entertain you.
Exactly.
Alright, well, just going back to the NDL for a little bit here. So you've been in here for a pretty long time now, and I got a chance to look at your history. I can't pull it back up now because this computer's really, it's just not cooperating with me this weekend. But I looked at your history. I think this is your 15th season, 14th or 15th. So you.
This one is my 15th. See, I think a lot of people I get a lot of downplay because if you look at my record, my overall record, it's not taking into account that I had 2 or 3 seasons that I had internet connection issues that I actually had my entire season still. Like my season with Minnesota, I only got to play 2 games. My season with Air Force, I only got to play 1 or 2 games. I had a season, another season, I think I only got to play 1 or 2 games. So, a lot of that doesn't really reflect on, my skill level or what I have done or what I could do. But then you look at what, when I had a team like New Mexico State, but 9-3 with them, I did well with Kansas State, did well with Washington State when they were horrible one year.
Yeah, I saw that. It's kind of odd. Other than Temple, all of your above 500 seasons have state in the team names. That's different. But yeah, I think you're off to a good start. So if I notice random things like that because I'm just weird. But yeah, you're off to a pretty good start this season. No, just like I said, I'm still learning things too, because I'm meeting people still. So I want to say your first season. Well, I can't look at it. I don't want to guess and be wrong. But how did you end up finding out about the NDL and what made you join?
I was actually in a lot of different leagues. I was in the LOD back when that was formed. I was back in the NMBL or MB. I don't remember what it was called. It was an NMBL, something. I was in that league, and I got an invite to the NDL back in like the early season, like really, really early, when it was first started. And I actually came in and had Army.
Oh,
but
wow.
I think I played like one game, and then I ended up like not being able to play anymore, and I took off for a minute, and then it took me a while, and I got into contact with like Fat Matt at the time, and ended up getting back in the league and got in with Rice, and I've been here pretty much ever since. I mean, I've met a good group of guys, made some great friendships. Like I said, Doc, I actually know him personally. I mean, I've known him since my youngest son was born, so 8 years. Like, he and I have actually met face to face. We've hung out. I mean, the dude has a killer man cave, nice size TV, has a great setup down there. Real nice. That was back when I lived in Minnesota, but now I've moved out to Virginia, and I'm trying to figure out who's all around here. Kind of scared about me too. So I don't know if I'm going to actually make that trip or not, but.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get one of. I know someone. It might have been Nick. Did a while ago put up a post like finding out where everyone is. So we need to do one of those again because I mean, obviously we know about NDL Florida. We hear about them on the message board all the time, and I mean I know from when we did. I don't know. I have to look up War Games again and pull that thread up.
People like kind of categorize, but not necessarily, you know, giving you details of where people are exactly what state. Just kind of giving you a roundabout of where they might be.
Yeah, I think that'll be something to do later. Because, I mean, I know there's a lot of guys that live in California. Because I'm pretty sure we had, well, maybe Florida had more. I think California had the most or second most as far as people. But it's like, that's cool. Like, we all live here, but I don't know where anyone is. It'd just be nice to be able to hang out just with a couple. Since we always talk, you know, everyone's talking to everybody on the board. And, yeah, make some pretty good friends here.
Exactly.
Man. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something else to ask. I had a question on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember what it is now. Trying to think. Well, I'm gonna pull up another question. It's only got a few minutes here, so while I try to think of that one, just not looking at the ACC since you're in it, just taking a general look at the league this season. How do you looking at maybe the title pitcher, maybe a Heisman pitcher, some of the different conferences? What are your thoughts like as far as maybe some sleeper teams, teams you expect to do really well that, you know, have great expectations already, or just players to look out for? Just throw some thoughts out there.
In my opinion, going based off of, you have some people who underrate themselves, some people who, you know, actually believe in what they can do or what their capabilities are or how things are going and just kind of downplay it a little bit. Going to the Big East, I think it's going to come down, honestly, to UConn and Pitt. I really think it's going to come down to that. I think NC State is going to, the ACC I'm going to talk about just in all honesty, with the different coaches, with the new coaches that came in, I think it's not going to be the same as it was last season, and that has nothing to do with the reflection of myself. But I think just looking at it right now, with NC State already being 1-1, you know, Florida State already falling 1, Virginia Tech already losing 1. You know, there's a toss-up, a real big toss-up there. Expect some big things from, you know, Texas Tech. I'm not quite sure. I mean, Black Rain has been known to do some nice things, you know, with his stick skills and his coaching abilities. So I'm actually hoping to see something from Texas A&M from Black Rain. But Block, with the way that guy played, I think he's actually going to do some damage with Michigan. But T-Wade's having a much better team, and that guy did phenomenally with Iowa State last season.
Yeah.
Having a much better team this season, I think he's actually, you know, he's probably going to take the Big Ten there. To be honest, either that or it's going to come down to him and Block. But that's just because I've played both of those guys. I haven't played Weasel in a while, so But I mean, Weasel has always been known to produce well, so it'll be those three for sure that's going to be in contention. But of course, you can't count out, you know, the known factors like Noel having Oregon, Steamroller having, you know, Stanford now moving away from Minnesota, UCLA Mac trying to do some things, and I mean the SEC, that's going to be crazy. I mean, Bama, he's going to try to make another run at it. But I think AJ is going to try to shock some people with LSU, though. I think AJ is actually going to try to shock some people with LSU.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I didn't pick him to win when we did our it was in the SEC. Weiser had us do a vote, just rank everybody, and that was a tough one because I think I still voted Bama #1, but at second place, it was hard because like I see Arkansas and LSU, and I'm still pretty sure that both of them could win the division and the conference. It's just it's stacked.
I mean, because you got Steppin at Arkansas, you got AJ at LSU, you got Bama, you got Iffy at Bama, you got Doggett at Florida, you got I mean, you're doing well in Kentucky. I mean, it seems like he's got a niche for his boys in Georgia now, so I don't know. There's problems looking over there at the SEC. I mean, honestly, the SEC, the ACC, the Big Ten, those three conferences look like hellacious. I mean, the only one conference, I mean, the Big Ten looks like it has an easier wing. I mean, the only team that might sneak in there to make it a four-way competition for the Big Ten is, in my opinion, might be Nebraska. But then you got like Pac-12, you got Oregon, you got honestly, just strongly, in my opinion, you got Oregon and you got Stanford. But if the coach at Arizona, because like when I was trying out teams, Arizona is a really nice team, in my opinion. That is a team that if you actually sit down and look at the team and figure out the personnel, get them in the right positions, that's a team that you can actually, you know, shock some people with. And that's another thing that I do that I don't know if a lot of coaches do. I mean, I talk to Rain and he does it too, but I actually go in depth with my depth chart. I actually look at like every stat. You know, I don't look at the overall stats. I actually look at my line. I'll go and look at what your actual pass blocking is, your run blocking is, your impact blocking is, what your footwork is. Because if you have like higher ratings there, but your overall is a 68 and the guy above you is a 78, but his ratings there are lower, guess what? You're going to be starting.
Yep, very true. It's the little things that matter.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think some people look at that or do those things and take those things into consideration because, I mean, that's what I do that does add some slight improvement to my line or make my line seem like they're a little bit better than they should be. Because otherwise, I mean, I'm just asking myself to get beat up. But if you look at my stats, my line still doesn't do that well because my quarterback gets hit a lot.
Well, I think that's quarterbacks in general this season. It's not looking good for them. I mean, I looked at the stats. I know some quarterbacks are putting up a lot of yards, and you've got some quarterbacks that are almost in double digits out the first block. That's scary.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the one thing I'm trying to do. I'm trying to, because normally because I played defense most of my career of football, semi-pro, college, even when I, you know, had my little tincture walking onto a certain NFL team that we're not even going to talk about because that's neither here nor there. It's not really important. But anyways, had my little, my experience there. So that's mainly what I know. I know defense. And if you look at, you know, because I was going through the archives, every season that I played, I did pretty well. I normally had like a guy up in the top 10 for interceptions and stuff like that. Because that's what I look to do. I like to take the ball. I love for people to pass the ball. I love when you're pass happy. I really do. It makes me happy. It makes me happy because that's where I consider myself to be better at defending. Yes, you can have 300-400 yards passing, but how many interceptions are you going to have? That's my question. You know, and as far as run stopping, I don't know. I guess I'm okay. You know, I don't consider myself the best. I see some guys that do phenomenally at stopping the run. You know, but I've been trying to work on being better at my offense, and I think that's what helped me in my last two games against Michigan and against USC, the fact that I have been able to be consistent with moving the ball and just being able to capitalize on, you know, some of those big moments when you get those key turnovers or just those key shifts. But, I mean, it's just about, you know, having fun, because any of those games, I didn't expect to win against USC. I didn't expect to be as close as I was with Michigan, but it was fun. If I would have lost horribly, I would have still had a fun game. And, I mean, I lost the Michigan game, but you know what? There was nothing wrong with it. I didn't see a thing wrong with the game, the way it was played, the way things turned out. It was a blast. If anybody asked me to repeat it, I would do it again.
Yep. #1 goal, all about having the fun. So, got a couple minutes here, so I'm just going to throw out a few quick questions that just randomly pop in my head. So, first one, I know you're talking about VT and Doc. Other than those two guys, and I'll say probably other than Block, since you just played him in Rain, give us another guy that you enjoy playing a lot, or someone that you've played before that's really tough.
I enjoy playing Noel because he has a great passing game that challenges me to, you know, it challenges me. And so does Shells, to be honest. I enjoy playing Mike because since he's so great defensively with his user skills, it challenges you offensively.
Yep.
Let's see. Shoot, there's a lot of people. Actually, one person that I did enjoy playing that I have not played in years, Corey. Me and C. Nancy have not played in years, and I enjoyed. Me and him used to have some great games like that when we played it. I enjoy playing that guy, but we have not played in years. So that's one person I would like to play against.
All right. Well, hopefully Corey's hearing that, and Nasty and Kane can do battle in the near future. So let me think something else. Favorite game all time, leaving out sports.
Favorite game all time, leaving out sports. Taking tag.
All right, it's good stuff. That was what, PS2, right?
Yep.
All right, I'm just trying to get the timeline in my head here. Favorite system of all time.
Favorite system of all time. Probably PS2.
PS2. I'm guessing RPGs had a lot to do with that. This seemed like every other week there was a good one coming out. Let me think of something else. Dynasty. Your thoughts, just like, I guess, as far as you dynastying a team, and what do you think of other teams? Like, you know, Pitt's been there. Well, even though he won in the draft, he went and took him back. But, you know, guys like him and Homie have had their teams like forever. And
No, my opinion on the dynasty thing, in my opinion, I think that's what the league is about. You know, getting yourself to the position where you can get that team that you want, that you can keep and continue using. And I mean, look at honestly, Rilio, perfect example. UConn was horrible, and he had that team for years, and now all of a sudden the team is just phenomenal. He's doing great things with them. Yes, there are teams that I would love to obtain to dynasty. But the one time I had a chance, I didn't get to play with them. Like I said, I played 2 games, and that was it. Minnesota's one of them. And any Florida team would be another.
All right. Man, I'm starting to run out of questions. It's been a long day already. Anything else you want to add here?
No, just the fact that, I mean, honestly, I've appreciated, you know, just the opportunity to be in the league and to meet the guys that I've gotten to meet, and to establish some of the friendships that I have established. I'm just hoping that, you know, in the seasons to come, that I can make even more friendships and, you know, I guess meet even more people. You know, just broaden out a lot more. That way, maybe I can actually start making some lifetime contracts, or, you know, some season contracts with some coaches. So, you know, you know, the out-of-conference scheduling is a little bit easier.
Yeah, it definitely helps when you have like those 1 or 2 guys. I think it seems like most guys at least have one, and then depending on how long they've been around, you know, some people you're not going to get to play them because they just like, yeah, if you want to play me, you got to join my conference. It's already full every season, so
Right.
good stuff. Maybe one of these days. I feel bad. Never can get in the situation to go to Vegas. I keep saying next year, but next year for sure. I want to go to one of these. I got to go to Vegas and meet these guys in person instead of talking over, headset, phone, instant message.
Well, this is my plan because I actually wanted to go, but I had been, because I'm a car salesman, and like this year things have been picking up and slowing down, that I haven't really been able to keep that in touch with the boards. That's why I'm just now getting back into things. And had I known, I would have tried to go, but I'm definitely going to the next one. And I'm sorry, I may hesitate to the soon-to-be wife, but I've never been, she's never been, so hey, gotta go.
Still have fun. Vegas is a nice place. I've been there a couple times. I don't know if you've been there, but there's a lot to do.
No, I've never been there.
Oh.
I've been to Reno, I've been to Atlantic City, but I've never been to Vegas.
Oh, you'll like Vegas. And I'll just leave it at that. Man. I guess the only other question I really got right now, it's not really a question per se, but I remember you posting on the message board, which is one of the reasons why I picked you as one of the first to do an interview with. You're talking about, I don't know if it was the open forum or the off topic, about wanting to post more and like getting yourself out there, the whole, I won't say shy thing, but just kind of, not really knowing a lot of people and posting. How's that going for you so far? You seem to be a lot more active, and I'm really getting a kick out of some of the things going on between you and Show.
Well, I mean, I've had friendships with a lot of these guys. I've just been quiet because the thing is, I'm one of those people that I feel like I'm interrupting. Like, I read what's going on, and I see what's going on, and I feel like if I just chime in, like, I'm like that outside. When you have that awkward moment when you hit a group of guys, you guys have this great conversation, then here comes this other guy, and just comes and says something, and everybody just starts to kind of look at him like, what the fuck? That's kind of how that's how I've been feeling. That's why I have never said anything, because I'd read stuff, and I'd want to say something, but then I'd be like, no, I don't want one of those moments, so I just shut up and just read. But then I just got to the point where I was like, you know what? I was like, I can't just stand here for too long, I gotta get to know my guys,
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's been going well so far, getting just random stuff started, because I have a master's degree in psychology, I'm a little bit of a nerd. I don't act like it that much, I guess. I don't know. But, I mean, I like to talk. So, I love getting on the boards and chattering, but I just, at the same time, I'm still trying to, I guess you could say I'm still kind of walking on eggshells, so I don't seem too abrasive or too assertive or, just making sure I still don't say the wrong thing quite yet or just be too asshole-ish. Just, I guess, try not to pull a neck.
Oh, man. Sorry, Nick. That's a good way of putting it, though. I know what you're trying to say. So you definitely got some really some different personalities on the board. You have AJ. I think kind of reading some of his posts at first, I didn't pick up on the sarcasm because I have a hard time picking up on it in words as opposed to picking up in person. Because most of my best friends are very sarcastic, myself included. So it's easier to pick up, like that. And then you have, Dave and Trendon. They get along. They've got, really polar opposite views on some things. And right now, the whole Occupy Wall Street thread, I've been wanting to post in that for a while. But every time I get ready to post something, I just say, you know what, never mind. So yeah, I know what you mean. I will say, since you have a master's degree in psychology, me and you will definitely be talking a lot more because that's my line of work here pretty soon. I'm still working on my bachelor's, but that's what I'm trying to get to. So by default, I'll be bucking the hell out of you a lot in the next coming weeks and months. So I like to pick brains because it's like, I like to know what people think, that whole psychology mindset, what's going on in your head, why do you feel the way you feel, all that kind of stuff. Find that interesting.
One tool that makes me successful in selling cars, because selling cars is very emotional. If you can't get somebody emotionally tied to a big purchase, they're not going to pay for it.
Exactly. I like to thank Konami for that with me getting a PS. Well, the NDL was going to help with that anyway, but I was going to get a PS3. But as soon as Kojima said that Metal Gear Solid 3 was coming out on... I'm sorry. Wow. Metal Gear Solid 3. Metal Gear Solid 4. Such a horrible fan for saying that. With that coming out on PlayStation 3, I just put the money aside like, well, that's it. PlayStation's bought. They have all my emotional attachment and then some there.
The weirdest thing is I got attached to PlayStation just because of the controller.
It's a pretty sexy thing, isn't it?
After PlayStation 1 and like just getting a still controller and PlayStation 2 had the same controller, it's just that I just like the controller. I don't want to switch the controller.
I don't blame you, especially for fighting games. You're a big fighting fan. No offense to Xbox controller. I mean, I don't have anything against it, but with fighting games, I mean, joysticks are cool, but if I'm using a controller, I'm using a PlayStation controller.
Right.
Well, alright, man. I'm running out of time on this little thing. Only got like 40 seconds left, so thanks for letting me bug you on this Friday. And thanks for taking time out. So best of luck to you in your season, and like I said, I'll definitely be bugging you throughout. So take care, buddy.
Alright, thanks a lot, man. Thanks for having me.
Alright. Talk to you later. Alright, and this week calling it early. Tech hasn't made it easy, and plus a few other things going on with work. So only 3 parts. Thanks everybody. Have a good week and see you next block.